Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Pauly Howard. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Great guests on the program this afternoon, including Pat Forde, Sports Illustrated. He's going to go scorched earth on college football in 30 minutes. David Sampson, Dynamite Podcast, former executive with the Miami Marlins, turned that organization around. He was there for almost 2 decades. He's coming up in an hour. And Quentin Mills today on the program, college baseball insiders, as the tournament started today. And we have at least one massive favorite going down already. Details on that coming up. We're going to get into the Stanley Cup final price that we have, Conn Smythe numbers, huge day today in Major League Baseball, some weather to pay attention to, Pauly, and the Knicks lived to see another day last night. And, you know, all this talk about we're not going to have a playoff game at all in either sport over the weekend, rubbish. The other one is, come on, we're not going to get another game on TNT ever. They were going to go down in 5 games, and that was going to be it. We're going to kiss them goodbye. And then they were going to move that outstanding show to ESPN. And then chances are it's never going to be the same ever again.
And who's going with them? Yeah, and that'll be an emotional send-off. They brought it. They were awesome. Brunson was phenomenal. Also what he did defensively. And Indiana brought nothing. And they played like Bovey said yesterday. They had a game in their back pocket, which I didn't expect because the same scenario presented itself against Cleveland, and they won that game and took them out in 5, no problem. To have Sloppy Joe again, 20 turnovers, and the first time they were held under 100 points. But it goes back to what Barkley said when he was so bothered by Jalen Green and others. But you can't have 35 and then 8. You can't have 31 and then 7, right? So I don't expect Halliburton to come back after that all-time performance and do it again. But to give me 8 points and only attempt 7 shots? Well, and then the others didn't do anything either. Neesmith, Nebhard, Turner, 14 points, 8 turnovers. That'll do it. Great job by the Knicks. Great performance. And now I would say it's squeaky bum time for the Pacers because it's happened 13 times, more than I thought. But 13 times the teams come back down 3-1. And now you're in this spot where you're expected to win and close them out. And if you go back to the Garden Monday, it'll be a madhouse. And I know you won last time, but they were injured and you shot 67% for the game.
Right. And now, how about this now? The point spread after last night. And by the way, that was a beatdown. The Knicks were clearly the better team in that game last night. And now the Pacers are laying 4 in Game 6 tomorrow night, which is the biggest number that they've been against the Knicks in this series. And it was much lower than that earlier on in the series. And now it's bumped up to 4 as the market is expecting this team to have a great bounce back at home here and to then finish off the series. I don't know. I'll ask you this.
Yep.
You have the Pacers 19-1. You hedge on the Knicks. Let's take those bets and wipe them off the board for a second.
Okay.
What would you, going in fresh right now, what number would you need to bet the Knicks to win the series? I have a number in my head. I'd snap it up immediately, and I'll tell you what it is.
Plus 330.
Plus 330.
Guys, I think the Pacers win Saturday.
Okay,
yep. I think they'll bounce back, and that's been the way of the NBA.
Yeah, I would take $3 in a heartbeat right now.
Well, and if you want to do that right now, you can if you want to hedge. So many people in the audience have the Pacers futures, so you're going to be an underdog in Game 7. But if you want to take the almost 3-1, you can do that and lock in a profit. Maybe you already did that before the game yesterday, which that's a good feeling too. So I don't know if you did that, congrats. But I think they'll bounce back and win. But certainly that was. You know, Brunson's got to be sick and tired about this, too. He's been getting called out, rightfully so, how bad he was defensively. So he's been great offensively. Towns was not limited. He was great. That surprised me. Oh, he was a beast. And Indiana was awful, but give a ton of credit to the Knicks. They played like season was on the line and they had to have it, and Indiana played like they had a couple games that they could throw away, and that's what they did.
How about Mathurin again last night?
How about that?
Good luck figuring out some of these guys,
man.
That
was 20-1, by the way.
To score 20-plus points?
He was 20-1.
You got to be bleeping kidding me.
Yeah.
That was 8-1 to begin the series in Game 1.
Wow.
Oh, man.
I know.
That just makes me sick.
You just can't.
Good for him, but I mean.
Yeah, it's hard to get a read on the others.
Oh, absolutely it is.
With Minnesota and with Indiana and what's going to happen.
So, yeah, I can't find 3-1. It's not out there. I think it was plus 295 last night was the best number. And the absolute best number I think I can find anywhere right now is plus 290. If you do see 3-1, you can always let us know. X is the best way to get us live during the show anyway at VSiN Live at Mitch Moss Radio at Pauly Howard. Let me throw another one at you based on what you just said. And Brunson was fantastic last night, as was Towns. Have you looked at the updated odds to win Eastern Conference Finals MVP?
Oh, I have this in real or fugazi. Let's go. Okay, well, yes. It's asinine. It's asinine.
I'm blown away at the number.
Brunson cannot be this number based on the fact that he's scoring, okay, but they are hunting him every time down on defense, and the two best quarters they had played prior to last night in the series, he was on the bench. This is lunacy.
I mean,
absolute lunacy is the second choice.
If the Knicks come back to win this series, based on how the players have played to this point, and if it continues, there is only one guy who can win it, and it's Karl Anthony Towns.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only player.
Yeah.
He was fantastic again, and he was the single reason why they were not dead and buried in the series 3-0.
Saved their season.
Absolutely, he did.
It was over. Done. Brunson on the bench. Down big. Cat takes over. Now we got a series. How about the numbers they showed on the pregame? Brown against Neesmith. On the floor in the series, Brunson, when they're on there, minus 43, shooting 40%, and 4 of 21 from 3.
Wow.
It's ridiculous what they showed that. So a great job last night. But coming into last night, it goes back to, what the executives and scouts were saying about great scorer, good player, good story, but can you win with the guy?
Isn't it funny, by the way, you can tie in, both this series and also the Western Conference Finals about how home court does matter and how it can be so big. I mean, game 1, the Knicks absolutely blew. Totally gave that game away.
Yeah.
Pacers were the better team in game 2, I get that. Game 3, Pacers led for a majority of that game. Knicks came back to get the win. Game 4, they ran them out. They were the better team. And then last night, going back to the Garden, and we documented yesterday the numbers on Oklahoma City at home. It's just teams have no chance when they're at home. Yet when they go on the road and play Minnesota in Game 3, they lost by 40. It doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of with you. I expect a Pacers bounce back in this game, and the others will play much better than last night. But now the point spread's 4. And maybe, you know what, maybe it should have been, we said this, by the way, going in real time, this is probably where the number should have been in games 3 and 4 anyway, and it never was.
Yep. Also going in to last night, game 1, Knicks starters outscored by 16, minus 13 in game 2 and minus 8 in game 4.
Yeah.
So that's why another reason I thought they'd close them out, but that's good. We got some drama Saturday night, and that's great, knowing what's on the line Monday night then. And then for the Pacers to finally get back there, and the Knicks, who haven't been there since '99, and imagine we come in Monday and it's a Game 7 to talk about.
Right.
Juicy.
I would not like the Pacers' chances to go back to Garden and win that game.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to, if we get that scenario. But for what it's worth, the current series price right now at plus 290 is a better number than you can get if you do a rollover parlay on the Knicks money line. That's 280 or plus 285.
Okay.
So if you're playing that game right now, if you can find plus 290, that series price is a little bit better. And the Stanley Cup final is set as well. I'm excited. I'm stoked.
Gotta be.
And just from a rooting aspect, as we've said many times, I hope they take it down, meaning Edmonton. I want to see a great player or great players like McDavid and Draisaitl finally get over the hump and win a belt, or win a title, I should say. That would be phenomenal. Get the rematch from last year. When they were down 3-0, they came roaring back. We talked about this yesterday as well. McDavid won the Conn Smythe, even though the team lost the series overall, which has happened in the past, but it's not exactly like it's commonplace. Now he is plus 120 to win the Conn Smythe after last night. He was awesome.
Yep.
He has 26 points in the playoffs, number 1 overall. Draisaitl, I saw him today at 10-1 at one spot. He has 25 points, second most in all of the playoffs.
Dead or not dead, though. The third one was a softie. You would have had that. But other than that, he's solid, and I can't kill him for what happened. And again, another blowout. This doesn't make any sense.
It does not.
Another blowout, and if you play both teams on the puck line, you cash again. 10 of the last 11 games decided by 3 goals or more. 11 games in a row decided by 2+ goals, and 20 of the last 22. Every loss by Dallas in the playoffs this year was by 3+ goals. And DeBoer goes out in the conference finals for the 6th time in the last 8 years. And I know from experience, you do not just blame the goalie because you give up a goal. And for him to do that, either DeBoer's not coming back or Ottinger's not coming back. That's ridiculous. And his explanation was absurd. You pull a guy, Ferraro was stunned. You pull a guy 7 minutes into a game,
2
win
shots,
or go home,
2
and,
goals.
Yeah, and one was a breakaway. And then you bring in DeSmith, who hadn't played since late April. So Jonathan Davis couldn't believe it, and he texted me, goes, well, I think he's going to bring him back out for the second period. And then just to say, well, it's a big 7 games is a big sample size. Okay, but what's all this you stuff? It's a team. It's not just him. The defense stunk.
Of course. Let's hear from DeBoer last night. Here was his explanation after the loss.
And obviously we were in a 2-0 hole right away. And you know what? I didn't take that lightly, and I didn't blame it all on Jake. But you know, the reality is if you go back to last year's playoffs, you know, he's lost 6 to 7 games to Edmonton, and we gave up 2 shots on 2 goals in an elimination game. So, you know, it was partly to spark our team and wake them up, and partly, you know, knowing that, you know, status quo had not been working, you know, and it's a pretty big sample size.
He has to know he's gone.
That's it.
He has to be gone.
Yeah, that's so bad. That's so bad. That's unheard of. 7 minutes in.
Yep.
You're in the conference finals. What? And you're going to put it all him? The first one's a breakaway. I couldn't believe it.
That's a pretty big sample size at the end.
Oh.
He's looking right at the reporter. You know, he's lost 6 of 7 to the same team in the playoffs. Like, yeah, it's obvious. He's got to get yanked.
Right.
It's amazing that he said that.
No teammates, though. The defense can't fault those guys.
Yep. Baseball coming up next, including a rematch of last year's World Series. Yankees taking on the Dodgers. This has happened to the Dodgers more times than you think this year. I'll explain what it is next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Busy slate today, obviously, in Major League Baseball. One game being played as we speak, bottom of the 8th at Wrigley. It's a no contest, man. Andrew Abbott for the Reds, brilliant against the Cubbies. 8 Ks over 7 strong innings, 1 hit. That was it. I was watching some of that game here in the sportsbook at Circa, Pauly. He was mowing down Cubs batters, one right after another. So they're up big time in that game. They did bump up this White Sox-Orioles game because of rain. I think it's supposed to start like in 15 minutes now. And this is the first time tonight, a rematch of last year's World Series, Yankees and the Dodgers. First time that LA is a home dog since last year on May 5th against the Braves. Max Fried also started that day for Atlanta. Good tweet here from our buddy Joe Osborne. LA won that game by a score of 5-1. I would not have guessed this, however, Pauly. Do you know the number of times that the Dodgers have been a dog this year?
I do not.
5 games already.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I have them all. They were at Wrigley. That was Kasperius as the opener against Boyd. Cubs won the game 7-6. In Atlanta, Sasaki against Schwellenbach. Dodgers won 10-3. In Arizona, Sasaki against Rodriguez. Dodgers won 14-11. The next day, they were dogs in Arizona, May versus Burns. And Corbin Burns was awesome. Diamondbacks won the game. And then they were dog when Kershaw came back against Canyon and the Mets. That was that big rain delay not that long ago. And the Dodgers came back to win 7-5 in 13 innings. What do you think tonight? Fried does have really good career numbers against the Dodgers and at Chavez Ravine. Overall, the current players that he'll be facing tonight, Betts is 2 of 30. Freeman is 2 of 13. Will Smith, 3 of 25. Teoscar Hernandez, 2 of 10.
Yeah.
Some of the guys who have been good against him, Ohtani, 3 of 5 with a home run. Edman is 6 of 16. Miguel Rojas, 10 of 29. And Max Muncy has good numbers with 2 home runs against him in his career.
No, yeah, I like the Yankees, though, because I don't know how long Gonsolin's going to go, but also what this pitching is doing day in, day out, and what they're giving them. I mean, the 2.15 ERA in May is the 5th best in the last 50 years. Number 1 ERA the last 30 days. You're not getting much off them and not giving up more than 2 earned runs, what they're doing. So I think they'll get theirs offensively. It's great with the props tonight. The World Series rematch, Judge, Ohtani. You could have his, what 3 former MVPs on each team in the lineup.
Yep.
What we have. So I'll back Max and the Yankees here in a great series and a great game. It's funny what you said about Freeman. He's got unbelievable numbers the last 30 games, but the issues he has against Fried, though, because he's still hitting 400 the last 30 games with 25 RBIs.
You know, Fried had that rough start to the year. It was all the way back on March 29th. It was not a great start for him to begin the season in his first start for New York. Since then, like, he has been the best pitcher in baseball along with Tarek Skubal. So, I mean, is he going to win the Cy Young? It's going to be difficult to overcome a guy like Skubal, but he has been absolutely fantastic since then. And typically, the Dodgers actually are really good against lefties overall on the season anyway. They have that going for them. So it's kind of funny to look at that and see the Dodgers as a home dog, which is where they are at tonight. The most wins in May updated. Phillies have 19. They're playing today against Milwaukee. That's Hall versus Walker. Cardinals and Tigers each have 18. They're playing a little bit later on today. Schwarber has 19 home runs, hit one last night, game one of a doubleheader. Mm-hmm. He's one behind Ohtani for the lead. Cal Raleigh also has 19. He's the only left-handed batter with an OPS higher than 1,000 against lefties. It's 1,000. It's 1,170. That's on the season. Bryce Harper has an OPS of 842 against lefties. That ranks 11th, but that's how good Schwarber is against lefties. And there's also this. I played Christian Yelich, total bases over 1.5 tonight at plus 105.
He's on fire.
The slash line here lately of 400, 464, 800 with 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. He's hit safely in each of his last 6 games, and in his career, very small sample size here against Tawan Walker, but he is 4 of 8 with a home run and a double in that career. So, like playing these guys who are starting to warm up a little bit at good prices, and I thought that was worth the play tonight.
Yep, paying tribute to his friend Euchre as well. That they were tight, and I know he's mourning Euchre. That's having a good year. I'm with you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of hot players and on a good streak, and it's always fun to look at these every day. How about what Olsen has done against Giolito?
Oh, he's killed him.
7 of 15 with 4 home runs. So you can take some Olsen props tonight against Giolito. And Holmes has been great for Atlanta. And Boston, again, this losing streak. What's going on? 6 and 15 in one-run games. If you lost 5 in a row, you're under 500. Holmes has got an ERA under 2 the last 3 starts. That screams Atlanta tonight. Olsen props as well. And then it was out there on social media. It can't be true, right? What the Red Sox are doing with runners in scoring position. I mean, this is just a mess. I thought they were going to be a playoff team, and they are just...
I have them to win their division.
What a big disappointment they've been. And it seems like Atlanta's catching them at the right time.
All right, so what do you want to do with this Cardinals game as they play in Texas against the Rangers? Liberatore against Leiter, the probable pitchers here, and we have this angle with Texas at home, not scoring runs, and other games going under. What is it, 24-6?
That's right.
Okay. So Liberatore...
15 times, 1 run or fewer.
Can you believe with that team?
It's a joke.
Now, they have Seager back, which can only help, obviously. But here's what I did with it for various reasons. But I'll begin with the starting pitchers. Liberatore, he's been awesome. I looked at him to win the Cy Young in the National League like 3 weeks ago, but his K numbers are not strong enough, so I stayed away. He has allowed 2 or fewer runs in 8 consecutive starts. ERA in that time, 1.91. Jack Leiter is going today. He's supposed to be anyway for the Rangers. He has a 3.00 ERA in his last 3 starts on top of that. And Jack Leiter, the first time through the order, his ERA is 1.04, no home runs allowed. The FIP is 3.4 rate, so much higher than the ERA, but still manageable. The WHIP is really, really good. Liberatore, first time 2.05 with the ERA, 2 total home runs and a FIP of 2.71. The Rangers against lefties are 3rd worst in WRC+, 2nd worst in WOBA, 2nd worst in OPS, and they have the 3rd highest K rate against lefties. I played first 3 under 2.5, minus 118. It's becoming one of my favorite bets to make in Major League Baseball. Mm-hmm. Now they have to get 3 to beat me here, which they certainly can. But again, these numbers are like elite overall, especially first time through. So just bada bing, bada boom, pull off the Band-Aid. Let's get out of there 1-0, move on to the 4th inning.
I like it. I mean, you question it if you're just betting Texas games under along with the team total under.
Right.
No problem. And don't feel like you're late to the dance either. I forgot to mention this yesterday while we were talking about the game, and I really like Toronto. You got to come right back with Toronto plus money on the run line. The A's have lost by 10-plus runs 7 times this year. They've lost 14 of 15. The run differential is 117 to 44. They have the second worst run differential in the league. Obviously, you know who the worst is. But it's just Bassett's had a good year. It is Springs for the A's. But what's going on night in, night out, and they're getting blasted in these games during this losing streak. Here's what I forgot to mention, and it pisses me off because he hit a home run. There was a good write-up at Covers.com. Ernie Clement is owned lefties. Crushed them. And he hit a home run last night again, too. Yeah. So you can get involved with his props as well. You know, just to have a hit is like $2, but total bases, hits, runs, RBIs, whatever you want to do, Big Earn is getting it done.
Big Earn.
And for him to go deep last night, good timing, and owning lefties as well. But again, why not back these awful teams? That's not outrageous. I mean, you look at these numbers, they're right up there with Colorado with some of the stuff. With run differential and loss for, they're getting blasted in 14 of these last 15 games, and you can get plus money on the Blue Jays on the run line.
I guess that really fun start to the season has been dead now for quite some time for the A's. Yeah, not exactly a playoff team anymore. I'll give you a K-prop that I played tonight. I'll give you some wonky numbers, but this kid, you know about Zebby Matthews, the prospect for the Twins, obviously. We talked about him last year when he was coming up once in a while. High K-rate kind of guy. He's made 2 starts so far this year. Do you think this is unsustainable? His Ks per 9 is at 18.
Oh, God.
And how about this? He's got an ERA of 7.71, but the FIP is 0.79. And again, very small sample size. But I was waiting for every book to post his K-prop last night because I was going to ladder him up to like 9 or 10. They didn't put him up until this morning at most books, so I couldn't do that. But I did play him for a little bit last night at over 5.5 when it was plus money. And earlier today, and put it on the vsin.com picks page at over 5.5, minus 105 on that. It's a great pitching matchup because that kid is like legit. And Wu goes for the Mariners, who has just been absolutely sensational here for Seattle. 2.40 ERA, the FIP not much higher, doesn't walk many, doesn't allow many home runs. The WHIP is below 9, or below 1, I should say. So, a lot to look at today and a lot to like, I think, in Major League Baseball.
I have to go right back to Wood. Because he continues to produce every single game, an extra base hit and an RBI, 5 games in a row. Though I like his props again, and as I mentioned, all those bad numbers with how Olsen has owned Giolito. Atlanta's on a 12-3 over on team total, first 5 over. So get on that if you want to. Smarter bets start with VSiN Pro. Join now. You have until tomorrow night. Lock in 14 months, just $199. We'll kick in 2 extra months for free when you use code PRO, less than 50 cents a day. The morning email from Bill 80, every best bet, every host, every guest, the betting splits from DK and Circa. Offer ends tomorrow. vsin.com/subscribe. Code PRO.
Pat Forde goes scorched earth on college football next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Good to have you on board here on a Friday. We're live downtown Las Vegas. Circa Resort Casino is the spot. We head out here to the Progressive Guest Line as Pat Forde, kind enough to join us here on a Friday afternoon, does a great job covering college basketball and college football for Sports Illustrated. Pat, good afternoon. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Doing well, guys. How about you all?
Doing well. You had a great write-up the other day on the ever-changing landscape that we're looking at right now in front of us with college football. I guess the first thing here that we can begin with is, like, who really wants this, what they're doing, other than people who are going to benefit from a money standpoint?
Virtually nobody, I think. This is purely a way for the powers that be to dredge some more money out of the playoff and to try to further their advantage if you're in a position to get an advantage, i.e. the Big Ten and the SEC. I don't think there's this great clamoring really even to go to 16 teams. Some people maybe like it, some may be curious about it, but I think we just got to 12. Mm-hmm. People just got the hang of the format, and now we're going to change that up again, and it's not even going to – assuming we get to 16, I think we will. It's not even going to be a straight 16 format. There's going to be double buys involved, and there's a lot of work that's being done to complicate and aggravate, but not necessarily improve college football.
Is someone going to stand up, and will that be the ACC and or Big 12 and say, what about what's best for the sport?
Tell you what, no, it's a good question because I do think the pushback this week has been pretty considerable. And I do think it's probably coming from the ACC and the Big 12 and Notre Dame and others that, this power play to get 4 automatic bids apiece for the Big 10 and the SEC, while, technically I think they have the authority to push it through, there's a lot of people that are pushing back against it. And I think that they're realizing to a degree how unpopular this really might be.
Uh-huh.
And, I think it maybe comes down to, do you want to be the people that have just been widely vilified for screwing up college sports, or do you want to try to find out a little bit better way to do this? And so I think five automatic bids plus 11 at large is gaining momentum as we go along.
Okay. What's the worst idea you've heard? Is it 4 automatic bids for the Big Ten and SEC just every year, no questions asked? Or is it this play-in game stuff where, like you wrote about, my God, there was a scenario where Iowa could have got in?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a combination of the two. I hate the idea of 4 automatic bids for anyone. I say earn it on the field. Let's see, maybe you earn 6 for your league, but don't automatically guarantee yourselves 4. That's not the way any other championship works in college sports. Secondly, though, the play-in, they want to be part of this. And that's where, yes, you get the number 6 Big Ten team playing the number 3 Big Ten team for a playoff bid. And nobody wanted to see that Iowa team in the college football playoff. And under that premise, if it's a 16-team tournament, they would have had a chance to play their way in. Illinois would have had a chance to play their way in. In the SEC, you would have had to figure out tiebreakers for a 6-way tie for 4th, and then also 5th and 6th. It's just those are not teams that people want to see play for a national championship. It would also extend the playoff even further, and I think people got a little bit of playoff fatigue last year when it's ending on January 20th or whatever, and this next year is going to be a week later than that. So there's plenty I don't like about it, but the automatic bids and the play-ins combined are I really don't like.
Do you think they would keep the conference title games then, like for the permanently, or like short term potentially, but long term, is that going to be a thing that we're still going to be kicking around?
I think there's a chance we can get rid of the conference championship games, which I would be fine with.
Okay.
I think that those are not necessarily etched in stone. Now, what they come up with instead of those might be worse, but for now, it's not like I would sit here and, cry a bunch of tears if we don't have conference championships going forward. When that might be, 2026 at the earliest, but it might be even later than that as they're kind of wrestling their way through this. But championship weekend is very much up for grabs. Who's playing, who's not playing, what's at stake.
I've never seen you so animated as when you're on your podcast with Wetzel and you guys were discussing this about they might do this, they might do that, and then you just went on this great rant where if you're the best conference, go out, prove it, show it. You haven't won it the last 2 years. I don't understand. You got 7 teams in last year, and then that's not good enough? As you said, you get every single advantage, and that's still not good enough for the SEC.
Yeah, no, that's the gross thing about this is there is seemingly no shame and no end to the gluttony of we have to have more, we deserve more, and that's the thing where the SEC, especially this offseason here, this week, they've been thumping the tub about strength of schedule. Well, here's what their record is the last 2 college football playoffs. It's 1-4. They got 3 teams in this last year. They all lost by the semifinals. They had nobody in the championship. And the year before, they had nobody in the championship. Mm-hmm. Well, yes, you want to go back over 10 years, 20 years? Undoubtedly, best conference. But as of right now, not trending that way. And so, to keep beating everyone over the head about how you're so much better than everyone else, again, let's go prove it on the field.
Yeah, and how about this? How about they play 9 conference games and they cut out scheduling Western Kentucky on November 18th when they're favored by 47 points in that game?
Yeah, I know. Everybody hates those late November non-conference patty cake games, and that would certainly be a spot to play a 9th conference game. And there are people in the conference that do want to play 9.
Good.
But there are also people in the bottom half of the conference that are like, that's just another loss for us. If you're Kentucky, Mississippi State, whoever, Vanderbilt, you don't want to play that 9th game. But guess what? Go do it anyway.
Well, this all feels very rushed, obviously, and we're talking to Pat Forde from Sports Illustrated here on Follow the Money as VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. How much of that is based on Alabama getting left out of the playoff last year?
Oh, I think that's very much a driving force. Is the fact that Indiana and SMU got in and Saintly Alabama did not. And here's the problem with that, and also the party line that strength of schedule was ignored. No, the only reason Alabama was even in the discussion was strength of schedule. And what kept them out was not some sort of SEC bias or fatigue or whatever. It was losing by 3 touchdowns to a 6-6 Oklahoma team and losing to Vanderbilt in a game in which they never led. I mean, their losses were bad. Yeah, they had a couple of good wins, but you can't ignore how bad they were against Oklahoma late in the season with everything on the line, and then just come back and say, well, they didn't pay attention to strength of schedule. No, people watched Alabama play and thought they weren't that good.
Yes, well done, well said. It won't end there. Also, college hoops. What changes do you expect to the March Madness tournament?
Yeah, they're greasing the skids to go to 76 in March Madness, which I also think would be terrible. And I do have a suspicion that that's become a little more of a talking point this week to take attention away from the football. This is a good time to bring up another unpopular idea because people are so worked up about football, and you can maybe slide this one in there. But I am by no means in favor of messing with what's been a perfect tournament. I already didn't like going 64 to 68, but we did that. Go to 76. All you're doing is letting in more mediocre teams, and they're not going to be the Cinderellas, and you're probably going to try to marginalize them more, the teams that really give the tournament some flavor. And one of the real flaws here in the talking points is, well, we're up to 360 teams now in Division I, and so shouldn't we add more to the tournament? No, because out of the 360 teams, most of them are all playing in single bid leagues. They're not taking bids away from everyone else. The top part of the bracket, the teams that have a chance to win at large bids are the same ones. It's not like adding Merrimack means Nebraska can't get in that large bid. I mean, stop with that garbage.
Yeah. Oh, that was dynamite. Love talking to you, Pat. Thanks so much for the time. Enjoy the weekend, okay?
All right, my pleasure, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, follow him on X. He is at Pat Forde with Sports Illustrated.
Yep.
I've been a fan of his work from the first day that I ever saw him, covering college sports for ESPN.
Good rant at the end, and also his articles were awesome today. All week, at Sports Illustrated. They were phenomenal.
All right, we're taking this show on the road, by the way. Next month, only a couple of weeks from right now, for the College World Series, June 12th through the 14th. Special editions here, Follow the Money and Money Moves, live from Rocco's, right across from the stadium in Omaha. We'll see you there for those of you traveling to the College World Series. Up next, win some, lose some, make it 11 straight games and 20 out of 22.
Last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Pauly Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
The props that cash night in, night out in the NHL playoffs, because we've had so many goals and blowouts and empty net, crazy. Oilers scored first in all 5 games. Perry, good job, John Davis. He had an anytime goal plus 370. First goal, 22-1. Kapanen last goal, 40-1. Remember, he had the goal in overtime against Vegas. It was 220-1.
Yeah.
Anytime goal was plus 750. Oilers empty net goal plus 340. Oilers to cover the puck line plus 280. Oilers minus 2.5 goals, alt line plus 460. Janmark, anytime goal, 13-1. Skinner, anytime goal, 6-1. Kane, 3-1. Robertson, 2 goals, 22-1. Incredible. Knicks, Pacers, Brunson, first basket, plus 380. There was a dunk in the first 3 minutes, too, plus 110. It's a fun prop, that's all. I think that's 4-1 now in the series. Offered at Will Hill and Caesar. Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Pauly Does Vegas on Instagram. Thanks to everyone who sends them in every single day. Took the Husky to the groomers. What do you think?
Oh, he loves it. He's a big fan.
How's she doing his vacuuming? It's just a vacuum. You got to get one, my friend.
Yeah, I can't
Jump
do it.
in,
I
come
can't.
on.
There's no way.
No, you can't?
I mean, they're
Oh,
beautiful dogs. I couldn't
know.
deal with that noise. I mean, I just...
I know. That's to the extreme, but I'll tell you, if they don't like something, they
don't
let
let
you
you
know.
know.
They
Yes.
talk, and they love to talk, too. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, she's just sitting there just drying him off here with the vacuum, and he's had enough and like, let me go. Get me out of here, right? That's unbelievable. This is Slot Hustler on Instagram. This was the other night, and she just gallivants around town in Las Vegas and posts some of her big jackpots. She's playing your game, Ultimate X bonus streak, where if you get something dealt and then you get several kicks at the can, it's not like regular Ultimate X.
Right.
In any event, she's got multipliers all over the place, including a 12 times up top, and she's playing triple-double, which aces and a kicker pays the same as a Royale with cheese. She gets dealt aces on $10 play, $69,000. She got the kicker on the big boy, and there it is. Oh, boy.
So this is what she does for a living?
I
guess, right?
She's not like Vegas Matt. I mean, he has a ton of more followers, but
Right. So I'm guessing like they play all day long. They're an influencer, right? And how many hands does she see every single day? But when that pops like that, I'm waiting for that day to happen.
I know.
The amount of times that I get dealt three of a kind when I'm playing 10 play with multipliers and I don't get a 4 of a kind, it's crippling.
That is nuts.
Look at that.
Well, I went back and looked at her feed, and she's got several videos where she's been dealt Royals on 10 play.
Oh, she plays a
and,
lot.
Yeah, right.
On 10 play.
Yes. Lose some. NHL playoffs. 11 games in a row decided by 2+ goals, and 20 of 22. 10 of the last 11 games decided by 3+ goals. And the Dallas Stars, all 9 playoff losses by 3+.
Yeah, they're totally fugazi, man.
Yep.
It's like this every single year.
I think DeBoer's gone. Not what he did yesterday, his ridiculous explanation. And why does he always jump around? That's the other thing. He just jumps around from organization to organization. He's lost in the conference finals 6 times in the last 8 years now,
With what does that tell you, by the way? With 3 different teams?
Yeah, right.
That tells you all you need to know.
All right. African Safari, who's in? Let's go. Safari Guide shows you what to do when you encounter a wild rhino.
Oh, sure.
Look at him. Are you going to panic? Not this guy. He's trained. Stand still, holding posture and calmly asserting presence with a voice and clap.
Oh, my good
The guide
God.
signals to the rhino that it's not a threat, but also not prey. Mitch, it's not about dominance. It's about awareness.
Look at this other guy who's creeping in.
I know. Reading energy and knowing when not to run. Never panic. Take it easy. Calm, cool, and collected. A little clap. Just stand there. And he turns around and walks the other way. After you think he's going to charge at you. And that is...
I don't. How do you possibly keep your composure?
That's like 4 Christian Okoyes coming at you. What that could be. Oh, man. Oh, incredible video.
Oh.
Yeah.
Starts to charge right at him.
I know.
Hold.
It's like the one video where the elephants charge it at him. You know, reminds me of Jurassic Park. Is this thing going any faster, right? When the T-Rex is coming? Have you ever been injured in Nevada in a car crash, slip and fall, or because someone else was careless? In moments like that, what you do next really matters. That's why you need Lasso Injury Law. They're not your typical personal injury firm. They're a boutique law office that gives you one-on-one attention. At Lasso Injury Law, you're not just a case number. You're a real person with a real story, and they'll fight for you like family. Al was awarded part of the largest slip and fall case in the United States. He started this firm for a reason. His own brother was permanently disabled in a serious crash. He saw firsthand how the system can fail victims. He changed everything. left his business, went to law school, dedicated his life to helping people just like you. 20 years of experience, millions recovered. Al and his team bring passion and purpose to every case, whether you're local or coming from out of state. 702-625-8777. Free consultation, 702-625-8777. You won't hit voicemail. You'll reach a team that's ready to help. Lasso Injury Law, built on purpose, driven by results. He fights for you. LassoInjuryLaw.com. He's our lawyer. He's fantastic. Go get him, Al.
Big phrase that Pat Forde uttered with us 15 minutes ago. If you missed it, you can always go back and listen on the Follow the Money podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, when he said that he feels like there was playoff fatigue setting in across the country last year in college football. I think that's going to be the biggest difference between, again, bettors and people who don't bet, right? Bettors want more games.
Yes.
They don't care.
Yes.
People who don't bet are going to say, wait a second, we have conference title games in the beginning of December. That's kind of part of the playoff anyway. And we're going to be playing until January 20th. That's way too long, way too many games. I'm sorry, I can't. That's right. I think that's going to be, by the way, same thing I think with the NFL at some point. NFL is doing too much with the schedule.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, you got college football playoff games going against the NFL.
Yeah, and the NFL, by the way, is they're basically holding people hostage.
Yeah.
Now, it's going to be almost every day of the week, and the goal is to get to 16 international games, and if they start all those at 6:30, or most of them at 6:30, so every single Sunday, you're going to be 9:30 a.m. Eastern until, 11:30 o'clock? Or 11 p.m., I should say?
Go back to your first question. Other than, Dan Wetzel proposed it because it's what other, Division II and Division III did.
Right.
In his book, Death to the BCS was awesome. But no one ever talked about 16. It was, can we just get rid of this stupid split champions format? Can we get to 4 and maybe, God willing, can we get to 8? No one ever said 16.
Well, people brought up 16 before.
I don't remember that.
I think they said 8 or 16 would be the best option. Because if you only go 8, you're going to leave out the little guy. And if you go to 16, then you're going to include, in theory, all conference, winners. But
well, I don't know. I think 8 was doable now because we have so many. We've shrunk the conferences now.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? That was the talk of 16 was before we got rid of the Pac-12 and we got rid of all these other. And now we have basically 2 super conferences, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, in any event, it's 2 things. It's just you got too many cooks in the kitchen, and you don't. We'll see with the SEC and the Big 12 coming out, which they said it wasn't by design, but the press releases at the same time about let's all get together and do what's best for the sport. And the other thing is, what was it? All the Money in the World, that great movie, Wahlberg and Christopher Plummer. When Wahlberg says to him, "How much do you need to feel comfortable? Security, more." I mean, that's the SEC and the Big 10 now. It's just you got 7 teams in last year.
Paul, I mean, here's the thing too. Just you better embrace it. Everybody better embrace it because what are you going to do about it? It's a freight train coming right at you at 90 miles an hour, and if you're going to be on the tracks, you're going to get run over.
I would call their bluff, though.
Yeah,
I would say, but if they want to be seen as the villains and ruin this and go ahead and do their own thing and completely splinter the sport, then okay, fine, so be it. Because of one team, and Pat's answer was right. You had terrible losses. Come on.
And how about that? Is it all rushed because of Alabama not making it last year? Yeah, probably. Because you lost by 3 touchdowns. You were never in the game against a bad Oklahoma team. And as he said, you never led, not for 1 second against Vandy.
He was also spot on about hoops. And that goes back, Seth Davis has got this wrong. Well, we've added all these new teams, so we have to expand the tournament. No, because look, the teams that have been added are all little guys.
Yeah, you're not adding another team to the Power 5.
Yeah, it's the little guys who are coming in the small 1-bid leagues.
Right.
That's what it is.
And they claim that it's not about money. That's what this Charlie Baker guy is saying.
Yeah, right.
Who I guess wants to expand it as soon as possible. Pat's right. They're doing this on a Thursday and a Friday, so it's going to get tucked under and lost with the college football news.
Uh-huh.
So it's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We'll talk Major League Baseball with former executive David Sampson up next. The updated win total for the Colorado Rockies is sitting at 39.5. Does he see them winning 40 games? We'll ask him next here on VSiN.